Hey ladies, good evening and welcome to another edition of Sister to Sister. So today I've got with me Wendy, Sheila and Chrissy, who will be helping me to talk about the topic of being single. We're gonna hopefully dive into this very quickly and deep also, because there's certain things that I want to know, I'm sure others would love to know, and things that I think we are wanting to talk about basically. So my name is Vesta and I'll be your host. Everyone else will be my co-host. We have people on camera today, which are Wendy, Sheila, and Chrissy. However, we've got people that are in the background and are happy to join in when they want to. So we're going to go around and introduce ourselves and maybe say something little about each and every one. So Wendy, would you like to start?
I'm Wendy. I'm over 40. I'm single and looking. I am, by day, I work as a receptionist, and by passion, I work as a writer.
Nice. Thank you very much. Now, Sheila, your turn.
Hi, guys. I'm Sheila. I'm 39. Looking forward to my 40th. I'm single and mingling. I work as a finance and operations manager for a theatre company, but I love accessories, so I also own an accessory store.
Yeah. Now, Chrissy, your turn.
Hi, I'm Chrissy. I've just turned 40, and by day I'm a housing officer. By night, I guess, I'm an event executive, I guess. Yes, working for an organisation.
Yeah.
Celebrating Ghanaians, yes.
Brilliant. So now that we've done your introduction, I think it's safe to say that in this room right now, we're all over the age of 30, okay? So I think we can look and talk about the perspective of people being single and over the age of 30. So, yes. I mean, we can, how do we start? Okay, how do you girls want to start this? Because we're all saying you are ready to mingle and ready to meet someone, but are you really open to maybe even approaching someone that you've maybe met in the bar, in a club, or just walking down the road? Are you open to just go ahead and approach someone?
I'm currently a bit too shy for that.
Okay.
I've done it before. I've asked the guy out before. He was like a friend of a friend, so he was somebody that I kind of knew. And it didn't, I was proud of myself, even though nothing came of it. So initially I told myself I'm never doing this again. On one hand, I was proud of myself for doing it. On the other hand, I just thought, no, I'm going to leave it for them to do. But I don't know, just the thought of it makes me feel so shy.
So do you think it's because you feel that it's a man's job to hunt, if that's the word we want to use? Or
I kind of have that old school type of thinking, kind of like it's the man, because I think in my head I just felt like if I'm the one who approaches, I feel like I'm then the one who has to lead it, and then I'm the one who has to plan the date, and I'm the one, I don't know, in my head that's how I've worked it out. But I know it's not that way. It's, I guess, a lady approaching just shows that she's interested, where if he's interested too, then he can take the initiative to get it going. But I haven't, I mean, I don't know, I haven't reached there yet. The thought of it just makes me feel so shy. But,
I'm like Wendy. I'm definitely like Wendy. I couldn't see me approaching anyone in a bar, restaurant, walking about. I think the thought of it makes me sick to my stomach. I am a bit of a traditionalist. I'm always on that mindset that men are predators. Hunters, sorry. I won't call them predators, that's wrong. Hunters, and therefore if they see something they like, they'll go for it. Maybe if I had a glass of wine like Sheila's got right now.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Can I just say to you,
Got my
know what
little
this
drink.
is? This is actually sobolo.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
is it?
That I
Oh,
mixed
come on,
with
Sheila.
lemonade. I'm sorry to shatter it, but I do want a glass of wine. But I thought I'll just pretend I'm drinking a glass of
Yeah, we'll call it wine. And we'll say
call
that
it wine.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll edit. We'll call it wine.
I mean, I think I'll take. So I'm from Bognor Regis, and the culture there is very different. We would drink, we would go out, and happily go and talk to guys, but we were heavily under the influence. Now in my big age, it will never ever happen again that way, shape or form.
Have you ever before?
I think in a real drunken mess, I may have gone up to someone or tried to engage with someone or trying to think I'm flirting. Has it come to anything? I don't think it had. No, it never did. Think a bit of a chinwag.
Oh.
And that was it.
It's frozen.
Bye.
I don't think we're gonna get. That's it. You're back now.
I guess for me, I approach people randomly anyway, just because I like having conversations with people I don't know, strangers. So I don't mind. Before I would say that I was quite shy to do so, and I think I had a conversation with my mum one time, and then we were talking about, when guys approach you and how much, some of them, there are those girls that be like, no, I don't, who are you talking to? Leave me alone, that kind of thing. And we're like, there's a lot of pressure on them. And so I said, you know what? I actually, I can speak to people individually like this. What's so wrong with speaking to a guy as just a conversation? Just start it as a conversation. Hi, how are you? And usually it picks up from there, but I don't, I would initiate conversation depending on how it's going. I'm also up to, saying, well, do you want to grab a drink or have something to eat?
Have you ever done it in a way where it's because you've seen a guy that you're interested in? And
I have done before. And actually, we're still friends. We're friends. Like, it didn't, because we went out to eat. He looked good. He just, the personalities weren't compatible in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But we are actually still friends. So, yeah.
I think, ladies, you should go for it at all times, every time.
No, someone is woman. But I don't. Do people actually approach anyone anymore? I like going out and having people approach. Do they still do that? I don't.
I think nowadays they probably approach, but then it's like, can I have your Instagram details or something like that?
When I hear people say that, it just like, you must be about 20. Can I have your Instagram? Can I have your can I have, what is it? Can I have your Snapchat?
Or are you on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Say, yeah, but I'm also on regular calls.
Yeah.
I mean, for me to be on WhatsApp means I have a phone number, right?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Just asking me that.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ruth. Hi,
okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Because it said I logged off, but I was in. What's going on with this? For me, I would never talk to a guy. I just wouldn't do it because I just think the only one time I've ever done that, I looked at the guy and I thought, oh, he's quite nice. So I was like, oh, excuse me, I think I've seen you somewhere before. And then he was like, oh, really?
That's hilarious.
Because I was never gonna. I was like,
Joker's way.
I've seen you somewhere before, and then he was like, oh really? He was like, oh okay, take my number. Maybe later on we might remember where we've seen each other. But then when we did meet up, then he was just like, you've never seen me before, had you? You just wanted to, and then he just had this pride just because
that's what scares me.
Nah, I was just like, I would never. After that, I was like, I would never ever do that again. I just feel like they have to come because if you approach them, they feel like they've got it easy because they've always got the upper hand because you approach them. Like you came to speak to me, because I remember my ex as well. When I met him, I wasn't even the person to speak to him, but he was like, "Oh, you were looking at me first," and he was always using that, and I just think, nah, I just wouldn't again. But yeah, that likes, yeah, you know, I've seen you somewhere before, you know, yeah, was it?
That is, do you know, I think it's a shame that he did that though, because I think I have a lot of sympathy for guys sometimes when it comes to approaching girls, just because I've got quite a lot of cousins who are guys, and a lot of my close friends are guys also, and I always like this conversation about, you know, when you approach a woman, how you feeling and that. And I've got to say, when I've spoken to a guy first, a lot of the times it's been, oh, you know, like, that's brave that you've done that, and I'm glad that you've done that, because there is also a lot of pressure on guys.
There is.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of women who, like, you never know how they're going to react. And I know some of the guys do deserve it, because some people just step to you in a very wrong way. But there are those who are also trying, and that might be a bit shy, but you know, there's a lot of women who are a bit like,
oh my gosh,
my level.
I was actually on the train, and I think this guy went to talk to this girl. She just snapped at him. She was like, "Why are you breathing on me? Why do you keep breathing on me like that?"
I mean,
like,
it's not necessary. That, I think that's so unnecessary. Just, we've all got a male figure in our lives. We've all got nephews, nieces, and cousins and stuff. So I just think that's horrible. But I think that's why ladies, we should, you know, make it a point to maybe once a month, you know, because you never know. Like, you might
it's true.
That might be your soulmate, might be as shy as you.
Yeah.
And they're feeling like, God, can I approach them? And it's just one word, or like even a smile. Sometimes you don't have to say anything, just even a little smile or hi, and they'll pick it up from there. But
see,
be shy.
Yeah, I agree that approaching, I think, is a good thing. It builds your confidence as well. And if it gets knocked, you can say, actually, maybe I should have done it differently, or this guy is not the one, and then you just move on like that. But then, can I say that from what I've heard in the past, some men find it hard to approach certain females, especially Black females. And I don't want it to come across as like, oh, Black power, Black this, but they say the things they say is, she looks stush, she looks very independent, she has her own car, she makes her own money, and when she's out and about, you can tell by the way she walks and handles herself. So they find it hard to approach certain women. How do women, or how do you guys maybe I don't know, because I don't want you to ever feel like you should lower yourself for a guy. But is there a way of being more approachable?
So my friend always said that you should always, she corrected me because she said my face always looks angry when I was out. And I don't know if it must have been history or something that silliness comes and approaches me. So my face is like that. Yeah. So she told me to relax my face a bit more. So I was like, okay, cool. So I try with the smile and be a bit less aggy looking, I guess.
Have not so
like
much
resting bitch face.
That's what I was gonna say.
Face. Yeah, resting bitch face, right? I try.
I haven't in my, like, I'd say maybe in my 20s, I probably lowered I don't even know if I lowered myself. I think in my 20s, because I'd say my whole of my 20s, any guy that I was involved with, it was operated through low self-esteem on my part. So, but because I mean, they'd blatantly been guys who was like, oh God, like, I haven't lowered myself in terms of acting like I don't have this and that. I think it was more intelligence that I kind of to me, I'm thinking, oh gosh, like, you know, he doesn't know what this means, or he's, I don't know, like, I'm not really somebody that's really into like the roadman. And even my brother takes the pee out of me, and he calls me Penelope because he thinks that I speak posh or something sometimes. But there've been times where I've kind of like, I remember back in my 20s, definitely, I lowered myself in that way, where I kind of pretended to maybe be more road, if you like, than I actually am, or, you know. And then I've even not lied about it, but not mentioned that I've been to uni, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so so lowered myself in that way. I have, like, not necessarily that, you know, I don't have this or I don't have that, but definitely I have in the past dumb myself down a bit in a way to make him feel like the, you know,
It's
big man.
Yeah.
No.
It's interesting that you mentioned that in your 20s, and I think we can all forgive ourselves for the stupidness that we put up with in our 20s.
Yeah.
You're kind of learning about guys more, like you're an adult now, and there's men as well. And unfortunately, I think at that time, and also our age group, when we were our age group 20s is very different to a 20-year-old now. It was a lot more like you've got to, you know, and especially coming from like Black African background, it was very much like, oh, you must submit to this guy, or you must seem to be too knowledgeable in certain things, more than the man. Otherwise, you won't get married, and you won't do this. And a lot of people, they fall for that. But I think we can definitely forgive ourselves for the things that we allowed. Like you're saying, Wendy, that you didn't even mention that you went to school, but I bet you didn't go to to university, but I bet you in your 30s and now you would never like ever bring yourself. That is the 20s thing, and it's quite unfortunate. But I think right now we will not do that. If a man feels intimidated by the fact that, yes, we have careers, we do have cars, you know, some of us have our own houses, or we've got pardon the French, our shit together. And we've worked hard for that. We've done the 20s, we've been working hard for that. So if a man isn't confident enough in himself to recognize that's a good woman, that's a woman that's not going to be a liability. I'm not going to have to be every minute, pay this for me, do this, or, you know, you're not just like a show thing on their arm, that you're actually a woman of substance. If a man doesn't recognize that, and that actually scares them, that's not the man for me. And I don't think that's the man for us. So.
I think now at this time, like still being single now at this time, that's something that I've definitely learned, that like to stick to my guns, stick to my values, stick to knowing who I am. I mean, I know who I am now. Right. In my 20s, I didn't know, you know, who I am. Even
would I be able
30s,
to ask, a question where?
But now I know who I am. So.
Right. Because now you know who you are, and now you know the things you know. Back then, because if, for example, in your 20s, would you have dated someone that possibly has no status in this country, that is maybe here? Where do I laugh? You know what I mean? Because
no, big fat no.
You know, but then no, you say that, but then what if that person would have been an amazing provider, an amazing father to your children, but he was not well educated as you were, and maybe he came here just to work and go back, but then you guys met and now you're together. You haven't chosen that person knowing what you know now. Yes.
I think I'm gonna back out of that question, because my ex was exactly that, and it did not go well at all. Every minute it was like, oh, are you saying that because you got a degree, because you got a better job than me, it was always a thing, and I was like, oh my god. So hello?
Yes,
we can hear you.
Hi, we can hear you.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. My internet's a bit funny. Because, yeah, that was always a thing. He was always bringing that up. And sometimes I want to come home and talk about work and just get a good response back. And sometimes the response was just like, it's okay. Nah, never mind. Like, I'll just keep quiet. But it was always a thing. So I think if you're ever going to go down that road, it has to be, if you're a Christian, like, you're being led that way. But for me, when I met him, I was really young, so I just went with him because he was a really good-looking guy. I didn't even think about whether he had his papers or not, or whether he had a degree or not, but it was a problem. It was always a thing. Whenever I would say, like, oh, why are we doing this with our money? Oh, why do you always want to do everything your way just because you've got a better job, just because you've got more money? For me, nah, I wouldn't do that again. So now I find myself, maybe it's not right to do this, but I always kind of, whenever I meet someone else, what do you do? I ask all those questions, but I think it's important. But if you're going to go with someone who might not be in the same job as you or isn't doing as well as you are, you have to that person has to have something else that covers that. He might
what is that something
think differently
else?
from you.
What is that something else?
It might be the way he thinks, or like he brings out the best in you. Like, my friend has met a guy and I've seen she's changed so much. The way she thinks, like, she's so wise now, and he just brings out the best in her. And that's what I think. If you meet a guy and you find you're always like annoyed, you're always worrying about this, or like questioning yourself, and you start to notice negative things about yourself, then you know that no. But if you meet a guy, he might not have his papers and he might not be doing exactly the same job as you, but he's bringing out the best in you and he's making you happy, then I would consider. But for me, personally, I wouldn't. No.
I think for me, it's not even about status. If you're working in a shop, but you've got ambition to grow and build yourself up, I could go there with you and we could build together. But if you're just happy to be just at that place and not excel in anything, that's when I have the problem. Because my life, for me, I don't want to struggle. I don't want to have to beg or have to be. There's a place I want to be, basically.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. But if you're looking at building a swell, I'm really cool with that. If I meet you and I like you and everything's good, but you work in, I don't know, Aldi, wherever. But if you're going to build store manager, if you're going to go, I could possibly roll.
I get that. Would you, any of you? Yes, Sheila, say your bit. I think
I was just gonna say that I hear what like you guys are saying, but we've also got to be careful about that judgment, just because we have seen it happen, like you were just saying, Ruth, and we know many people who's dated a guy who probably didn't have their status and they've gotten it and they've left them because that's all they were after, or there's that insecurity of, oh, okay, you've got a better job and you're the woman, so there's always that kind of, it's the insecurities of men and some women. However, I don't think we shouldn't we shouldn't generalize everybody just because, like you were saying about your friend, there are so many men and women, but we're talking about men, so there's so many men who don't come to the table with the standard things that we're expecting. You've got a car, you've got this and that. There are many men who are working in McDonald's or Aldi who are not managers, but actually a lot of them are probably doing their PhDs, or they're doing, like, they're at university or whatever. It's what what else they bring to the table. Like, are they encouraging you? Are they supporting your dreams as well? Do they have their own ambition? Are they growing you? Like, spiritually, are they growing you? Physically, everything in every other way. So it's not always, because I think for me, I work hard because I don't ever want a man to turn around and say to me, after all, I did that for you. That was from me, this and that. I don't like that. So I don't really like taking things or accepting things. But if you're come, we're going to have a partnership. As long as you're doing your thing, we've got a goal. We're both looking to, you know, be big or whatever it is that the goal is the same. Sometimes how you get there is different. But as long as you've got the goal and you're, you know, the person's uplifting you rather than bringing you down, I just think, and also a lot of guys who might not have their status and whatever, a lot of them don't really want to live in this country.
That's another issue.
Sorry?
That's another issue though.
Yeah.
Suppose you meet one who, maybe he's not Ghanaian, because I mean,
but if
I want to live in another country.
You do.
I don't want to move to another country at the moment without, if I like as a single woman.
Yeah.
But then like, if you meet, say, a Nigerian guy who's all those things, you know, not got papers but uplifting, but he's working because he's building his house back there because he wants to go back there soon.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to go and live in Nigeria?
That's the thing. Would you date
for them? Yeah.
Would you date outside of your race, outside of your culture? Would you date like someone that?
Yeah, not outside of my race. I'm not being funny.
Yeah, not outside of my race. I've always said that if, say, a white guy just shot me with some Cupid's bow and Cupid's arrow, and I found myself falling for this white guy, I'm not gonna have feelings for this guy and then tell myself, no, I can't date him because he's white. But I'm not consciously looking for outside black at all.
Okay.
At all. It's not even fair on him because I might see a hot black guy and walk past him.
Hey.
No, but yeah, not. I mean, yes, I'm saying if it happens, and I fall for one who's not, then I'm not gonna stop it. But I'm not looking for one outside of my race.
I've had to become very open. I think maybe because I've come 40 and I'm like, boy, people aren't working for me at the moment, but I'm open. I have a preference, but I think I've become more open.
Have you been there?
Once or twice.
I never have. That's the thing,
but
because I never have.
They haven't been like big relationships or anything like that. But yeah, definitely dived in that pool. And it's like, I think people feel like it's an alien thing, and it's really not. Yes, there's cultural differences and stuff.
That's not a big thing though.
But I just find, I've become more open to it because I am where I am.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm also open as well. Like if like I do find some white guys attractive, and I'm like, there's quite a few of them that kind of get with you, and they're open to like understanding your culture. Because even with black guys, like my ex was from, I'm Nigerian. My parents are Nigerian. And my ex was from like Zimbabwe, South Africa. And that alone, there were so many differences because the way they do things is completely different from the way we do things. And we're both black, we're both African. So in that there can be cultural differences in anything. Even with Nigerians, like you have the Igbos and the Hausas, and there were differences there. So I'm open, like I'm into get with someone that's from another culture as long as they're understanding to mine. So I don't kind of close it off. I just think if I met someone white, then yeah, and you know I felt like we got on and he's open culture, then yeah, I would.
How's it dating now that after a past relationship that was a very long one and with 2 kids as well? How is it dating and trying to find someone?
I think when I initially broke up with my ex, because he was all I ever knew, I kind of and then I was getting the tip from all these guys on dates non-stop. And then after a while, I kind of got tired of the dates, and I would just say, okay, I'm not going to go on a date with every single guy. I'll talk to them on the phone first to know them, So I would say at the beginning, it was like, I was like, okay, who's next? Who am I going to go on a date with? That one should take me up. That because I'd only ever known one person. But then, yeah, I had to do a lot of like reflecting, and I had to think, okay, I can't date in every single guy because it's a waste of my time, and you just get fed up of it. So now I only really like, I hardly even go on dates now because I talk to so many of them, and I'm just like, no. Not that I'm being too picky, but I just don't want to waste my time. Yeah, but yeah, to your question, at the beginning, it's exciting. Then you start, after a little while, you start to think about, you don't, because in the beginning, you blame the other person for everything that went wrong. But then I took a step back and thought, okay, what are the things that I learned from that relationship? And what could I have done better? What could he have better? And I think that process takes a while. I think a lot of people, after the relationship, they feel like they're ready to move on straight away. But I think that process, kind of reflecting and thinking, okay, why didn't that one work? What were our differences? And then just being wary about who you're going to meet going forward.
So basically now, I think most of you, can I say that you have a checklist? Is that something I'm not saying like a physical one, but have you got like something that is really important to you that you wouldn't, budge on? Like Sheila, she doesn't date outside of her race. So if you come to her, you're the richest man, a millionaire, and you're white, she'll say no.
Do you know what it is? It's not so much. I just, for the life of me, like I'll watch a movie sometimes and I might see like one white guy, oh, he's cute. But generally, I can't date a guy if I'm not attracted to them. I know that might sound a bit...
Exactly the same.
I'm with you.
I'm
with you on that one.
I can't date you. And so far, like all this time, apart from David Beckham,
See, that's it.
even him, I don't even fancy him anymore. Yeah,
Channing Tatum's my white boyfriend.
See, there's some that are cute, and but then I'm just like, when it comes down to the crunch, like I can't. I've been in a situation before, like there was a guy when I was in my 20s, and we were such good friends, and I think one time I was just like, oh, maybe, and we kissed. Finished. Like I just, whatever was in my eye at the time, I was like, what are you doing? I just don't mind. Well, I don't. Maybe that's also me shooting myself in the foot, actually. But so far, I haven't really seen or spoken to, and I have friends who are white and etc. But I just don't.
I don't even know if it's about shooting yourself in the foot. I just think I don't feel sorry for not being in. And the amount of people that told me you should date white guys, but it's not what I'm attracted to, and I just don't feel like you have to apologize for it because it's not for any bad. I'm not racist. At all.
No,
I'm not your attracted to, and I want somebody, because to me, physical attraction is important. I want you to kiss me. Like I want you to kiss me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So telling me that this white guy has got millions and that, if I look at your lips and they just don't look nice, or if I just look at your face and I just don't want you to, if I'm not attracted to you, I don't really care how much money you've got, because
it's funny, every time we say going outside our race, we always talk about Caucasians, white, and it's not necessarily that. So
I feel like not really.
I know.
The majority of us are going to go further out of that.
Yeah. Oh, no, listen, there's one Asian guy that is very attractive. He's in my friend group. Now, everyone would be like, really, Chrissy? But he's very nice.
Yeah.
He's married and very nice. But we always go back to it's white and it's a no. But there's outside racism. Outside.
Yeah, but don't you think it will be harder to get into... Yeah, I think it's even harder for a black person to be accepted in an Asian household than it is for a black girl to be accepted in a white household. So I think that's why we always go back to white people. It's easier, actually, I think.
Yeah, they're so neutral, so it's a lot easier, I think. I agree with you. But I agree with was it Chrissy that was talking about the Asian guy? Because I had our CEO, and he was Malaysian, and he was fine. Like and he was flying with me, so I was like, okay then, had muscles and everything. But But yeah, I completely agree with Sheila and the attraction. I think that's so important. And you shouldn't feel bad if you're not attracted to a white guy. Everybody has their preferences. There's some white guys that are not attracted to black girls. So it's not something to feel bad about. Everybody has their preferences. You might just be used to black guys. So it's not, but I think attraction is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we were having some people were like, my boss was having a debate with me at work, and he was saying that I'm too focused on looks and I should look at personality. And I said, when you met your wife, did you think about her personality before you went to talk to her? And I was like, no.
You know?
I saw her, I fancied her, and I went there and I said, so what are you telling me? Men are different? I was like, what do you mean men are different? I just think attraction is really important to me. Because for us girls, when the guys approach us, sometimes you might not even the guy that approaches you, but you're just nice because you don't want to be rude. But sometimes you find yourself managing, you know, if when you're attracted to them, the spark is there and it's nice. But yeah, but then you have some women who are attracted to personality and they might be attracted to looks. But for me, you need to be looking good. I can't be, yeah.
I mean, I have dated people who the personality is what, because when we met, it wasn't on that tip. It wasn't on a romantic tip, but you just chill with them and you get to know them, and then afterwards you think, okay, he's all right. He's actually quite cute. Yeah, okay. Like, because the personality kind of was there already, and it wasn't on a chirpsing thing. It was just everyone was just chilling, and it was from that. So then you think that, you know, then sometimes you know, you look at them and think, oh, gee, he's all right, actually, yeah, kind of thing.
The attraction grows on you.
Yeah.
I think that's like there is still attraction at that point, but if you're meeting somebody and it's somebody that's trying to chat you up and you don't like the look of them, you don't like the look of them.
Oh,
going back to your question, V, about a tick list. What's her name from the real? Is it Janine? Janine. She's now
engaged to
and she does her YouTube, and she mentioned about, she wrote not so much a tick list, but a list of her. I'm not shifting on that. And then she basically prayed. So all you churchgoers, this is what she did, and she said she goes to church. And I go, so I was like, okay, because I've never done that before. I've never actually focused and said, okay, what am I'm not shifting on. These are my exactly what I want. So I did it, and I found it quite therapeutic for me. I don't know how good it would be for me in the future. I don't know if you ladies have done that kind of physically written that list of your do's and your wants. And yeah, it was quite interesting because I hadn't ever done that before.
So that list, if you had written it in your 20s, do you think it would have looked different now that you are 30 plus?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's more it would definitely look different.
Okay. So those lists, I must say, I had a list and it worked okay for me. I think those lists are good because then it puts your
It has to be realistic though.
Yeah.
Mine's not extravagantly, he has to earn £1,000,000. No, it's not like that. These are very quite simply, which I don't think are very far-fetched at all. Not far-fetched at all.
I have one, and the top of it is that I want someone who has to understand me and love me for who I am. Like, that's not too much to ask for, because there are a lot of girls that get with guys that don't even like the way you're trying to be someone else to please them. No, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think a lot of females, especially the younger generation, they go out being all presented and all of that, but really and truly, some of them don't want to be that loud. They just want to be a bit quieter and a bit homely, but then the person they're trying to attract, they have to be loud for them or be all makeup up and have the wigs. Yeah, it's true. I think now society has made things look so beyond anything, because I think now, like, if you're going for, that's my opinion, if you're going for anyone, go for someone that is, I think, that you have common hobbies and values. if you are an outgoing person, maybe go for someone that's not so outgoing, just so that when time goes on, you still, I don't know how to explain it, because as we grow, we change. But then maybe I'm not the right person to speak on this topic. Do you see what I mean? But hold on one second. I was going to bring in another lady. Hey, Nelly, you joined us earlier on. How are you?
I did. Hi, I'm good. Hi, ladies. I've been listening. Sorry. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think I'm probably one of the few ones. Looks has never really been a big thing for me. But in the same way, when you meet the person the first time, you need to be attracted to some degree. So I agree with that. But for me, it's always been personality. My focus has always been how the person brings the good in me. So how do you impact my life? That everything I'm doing, I'm getting better at it. That's how I look at things. So I've got 3 kids. I was with my ex for 17 and a half years. So yeah, and then we broke up, a couple of years ago. But I can't even the 17 years, I can't sit back and say really bad things. There were good times, there were bad times. But going forward, I've learned from the bad times. And my focus definitely for me is, what do you bring out of me? Because I can guarantee you, if the person is good looking, they've got the status you're looking for, they tick all the boxes, and they don't bring the positive, they don't make you better. They don't make you become the kind of person you think you're destined to be. You're gonna have issues. So that's how I look at it, and I think everyone looks at things differently, but that definitely is how I look at things.
No, I mean, that's a good point, because being in a relationship for that long and then not being, how do you find the game now? Like, from when you were in your 20s, how is the dating game now? How's it being single now? Is it different?
I think I'm pretty much like the other lady who said she had been with that person for quite a long time. It's different. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I feel like I don't know anything, to be honest with you, because the game is completely different from when I was dating. But then what I also know is that amazing guys out there. There are really amazing guys out there. I'm not fussed about race. Once again, maybe I'm different. I'm in my 40s now. I'm not fussed about race. I'm not fussed about, whether the person's black or white. I'm more open. But there again, I think I agree with the other lady. I have to be attracted. I'm not looking after a white person. I'm looking for an Asian person. But if a white person comes and they meet the kind of things I'm looking for, I'm very open. I'm not going to say no because they're white or Asian or whatever. But then also, I've got friends who've been in relationship with Asian people, and you're absolutely right. It's very difficult to fit in, because even if a man loves you, extended family is a problem.
That's the thing for me.
And in fact, I know a friend who literally has been disowned by her family because she's dating a Ghanaian guy. She's Asian. They're married, they've got 2 kids, but she's still disowned. So I do understand from the other lady's perspective why they would say, I don't want to go there, because it's tough. Relationship itself is difficult enough for you to have to be worrying about the other issues. So, but then in the same way, in a weird way, I'm not closed-minded about it. If it does happen, then I will kind of assess. But the game is completely different. Vesta. Me, I'm like greenhorn. Literally, I don't know what's going on. So I can't really comment.
Do you reckon
about
for the rest of you, is religion a deal breaker?
Yeah, definitely.
But religion, I think is important. Personally, for me, I think is important, because, mind you, we're looking for somebody who will make us better in everything, physically, spiritually, financially. Financially, not because you're dependent on the person, but you both want to be better in your career, whatever it is you're doing. So I think personally, it doesn't matter whatever religion you belong to. I think you need to grow spiritually as a couple. I think it's important.
Oh, that religion one's been a big one for me, because I'm a Christian. And although I'm not going to shove it down your throat, I want someone who's Christian as well. And then when you talk about celibacy, a guy turned around and he was like, "You're really selfish." Like, he got angry at me. I was like, "Look, I'm not forcing you. I'm not forcing it on you. I'm just telling you this is me, and I don't want to do that because it's against my faith. I don't want to commit sin, and it's fornication. But I say it in a way like, look, I'm just telling you from the beginning that that's not what I'm not willing to do that. And you have the different type of guys. Some of them will just go along with it, like, yeah. And they'll be thinking, when I see her, I'm sure she'll change her mind. And then you go, whenever you meet with them, they're all over you. You're like, did I not tell this guy that? And then you have the ones that are just like, oh, that's a big thing for me. I haven't met a guy who has just been like, okay, that's fine, I respect that. I haven't met one.
You have to go find an actual celibate man.
Well, but they all go to church though.
No, but there are lots of men who don't go to church.
You know how they say in one, you go to the club on Saturday night, you go to church like that.
I would go to a bar. Like, it's not a sin to go to like a bar.
On what you I mean, I don't like it when people act like going to a bar is a sin. That's the thing. It depends on
a sin. Just because you're born again doesn't mean you have to be some martyr. You can still have a personality. You can still be relatable. You don't have to. Absolutely. I don't want to fraternize with unbelievers. No, I don't believe in that. Us Christians should be in the midst of everybody, getting on with everyone, and not making ourselves look holier than thou. Because when you make yourself look that way, that's when you'll fall the quickest. So when I say that to guys, and I haven't met one guy that has just like taken it. And the ones that say, oh yeah, it's okay, the next thing you know, oh, but you're so attractive, I can't help myself. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh.
But can I ask, where are you meeting the guys? Like, are you online? Are you dating online? Is this through?
You know what? It's really for me. We were talking, and Chrissy was mentioning about a resting bitch face. I think I'm the opposite. I meet guys on the train when I'm going to work. I meet guys when I go out. Like, if I go out with my friends, I've met guys in bars. I've met like 3 guys just going to work, and they're on the train and they've seen me a couple of times and they've come to talk to me. So I think I've got an approachable face. I've never been online. Like, I've never met anyone online because I don't know, I'm a bit skeptical about that. But yeah, I always meet people out and about, when I'm on the train, when I'm going out, or when I'm with my friends. I haven't never met anyone online.
Yeah. Going on the online, I know some of you girls here have tried the online, the blind dating, and the speed dating. Does anybody want to speak up, or do you want me to point fingers?
2 apps now. I'm on.
I've dated online. I do date online, and I do also meet guys just when you're out. But I think I'm all up for online dating. I'm not gonna lie, just because I feel like if we're not on lockdown, we're at work.
Yeah,
we are. Our social groups, like especially around our age, in the 30s and the 40s, a lot of our friends now are people we've known for many years, or we've grown up with, and we know their circles as well. And if at some point, in our 20s, early 30s, if we haven't really clicked in that way with that extended group, at this point, I think the only other way that you are going to meet people is if online, like if you're approachable and people do see you and speak to you just on the street, etc. I don't really see the difference in that. And I'm honestly, I don't see the difference as far as if a guy approaches you on the street, like they approach you nicely, hello, how are you? I think you're beautiful. Can I take your number? You still don't know the background of this guy. He could be a murderer. He might have just killed his granny. Right? The same way, if like somebody is online, they can say, they can write what they like. If you see them and you think, oh, okay, they sound like, their profile sounds good, and they like the things that I like, let me start speaking to them. You don't know their background either. The same way you don't know that person on the street's background. But online, I feel like there's more... there's more reach.
I agree with you.
Everything you said, I agree.
I agree, absolutely.
And there's
risk everywhere.
Yeah, there's risk everywhere. There's lovely guys online.
I agree.
again, I'll say I've been on some really nice dates with guys online who have been, although maybe our personalities might not have matched, we might not have gotten long term. I have a friend who we met online maybe 4 years ago. We're great friends. Like when my mom's here, he takes her out to lunch. I have keys to his house. We're just friends.
Mm-hmm.
I have keys to his house. I go out with his grandma sometimes. It's like that, but we met online. So I encourage you ladies to look online. I'm currently Tindering, and I'm currently Tindering in New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because during lockdown, they're opening up to...
yes.
Oh, wow. I did not know this.
And so I'm speaking to, well, I don't know what's going to come of it, but I met a guy in San Diego.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, as a friend, we're probably going to end up being friends because he was supposed to, coincidentally, he was supposed to be coming here in May.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, I think we started speaking in like February. So it's before the lockdown. So as far as I knew, like he was going to be coming here in May, and he told me like what hotel he'd booked, and he seems to make good money. I was like, okay, good, nice hotel, okay, yeah.
And I'm assuming he's black. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's black.
Probably tall too.
Can I ask a question?
I can't tell how tall he is, but he's black and he's funny. Like it's been cool. We've only spoken on the phone actually once, but we've like because he's in San Diego. It's like an 8-hour difference.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, everything you said, I completely agree.
Yeah. You wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, because my mum was single, and then she'd been single for a really long time. So I was like, Mum, why don't you get online? There were Christian apps and things.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what she said to me? She said, oh, it doesn't work like that. It's not biblical. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not biblical? Like, times have changed. Obviously, in those times, they didn't do online dating. And then she was like, your husband will find you. Like, just pray and God will link you together. And then I was just like,
work alongside your prayers. That's the thing, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is, she kind of shut me up because then she met a guy a couple of months after, and it was through her friend, and she was like, "You see." I was like, "Oh God." but like you said, I think so. That kind of made me think, okay, is it biblical? But then it doesn't say it's not. It's not in the Bible that you shouldn't either. And there's nothing wrong with kind of broadening your own horizon. And even if you make friends with someone online, at least you've like done that. So that kind of put me off as well. But I was just like, especially when you see, I was just like, oh. But yeah, I think like I can't remember
go
names,
for
but
it.
Like Wendy said, you have to handle things, even as a Christian, you're supposed to handle things spiritually and physically as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And God leads the way. You're not just going to stand there and not do anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least go forth. I'm a Hinge girl at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, my friends are telling me about Hinge.
But my problem with Hinge right now is that it just feels like the past maybe 3 weeks, everyone that you're showing me just looks like an uncle. You put your age as 42, and I'm thinking,
nah.
Come on, man.
But they've also, I've realised on mine, you had to pay to look at your likes now. Have you realised that?
Celebrities.
No way.
So you can kind of glance at them and then it freezes. So you have to actually go and upgrade. So I'm not happy with
that.
me. I just checked the other day.
Really?
Literally. I don't know if it's when you go on, but literally. Wendy, we will talk. I will show you. It's serious. It is. But I've spoken to people, but they just don't. Yeah, no movement.
It's not there.
No movement at all.
That's the thing. I think
another
thing is that guys I'm finding are just I don't like when all you want to do is text. All you want to do is WhatsApp. And I find that guys are just they're being very, very slow, which is what's I think that's my biggest issue now. Like when you do say match with somebody and you get chatting to them on the app, can we swap numbers or should we swap numbers? Okay, yeah, here. And then sometimes it's just text. And I always say to them, so when am I going to hear your voice? And then that's kind of like the hint for you. Can you call me, please? Or
Yeah.
some of them think they're funny and they'll send me a voice note. Like, you're funny. But it's just they're really so moving. Sorry.
I think that's a real problem that people
Yeah.
don't actually like talking on the
They're
phone.
not proactive.
That's
what's happened
with
now.
friendships as well. A lot of people are more texting, WhatsApp, but just talking on the phone. Do you guys remember when we had the 3 after 7 phones?
Yeah, hour, 1 hour, and then cut.
Now that it's free,
it was 7 till 7, and it's like, and the thing is, and one thing I don't like, and there's a guy that I've met recently who he's from Sierra Leone. I met him on Tinder, and he's cute, and we spoke on the phone. It was cool, but I don't understand why we're in the same country and you call me on WhatsApp.
Oh. Maybe he's using Leica Mobile. Have you thought about that?
Or maybe he still uses his WhatsApp.
Yes.
Number.
Yeah.
In this country.
But isn't that the same number because I've called him on the number, because when I've called him, I call him normally, because I don't understand using WhatsApp when we're in the same country. Because
some people do. Some people don't have minutes and they have.
But does that still exist?
Wi-Fi.
You know what I mean? That still exists.
Look, some people are financially savvy, and I'm saying this because I'm on contract here, and only a month ago I realized that I'm just giving Vodafone money for nothing. There's a lot of these kind of pay-as-you-go lines where you can go on and you're getting a better deal. Like if you're at work the whole day, you've got Wi-Fi. At home, people are paying £5 a month. I'm paying £42. We need to rethink. That's what the guy's doing.
No, it's true. Okay, I'll take that then, because I just think, why are you calling me on WhatsApp? Like,
well, actually, in that defense as well, sometimes when I'm talking to someone, I'm messaging them, I just press the call button on WhatsApp. I just do that.
Because to me, it's like then when you get a normal phone call, that completely overrides the WhatsApp. If we're speaking normally, then it's a call waiting. But when I'm talking to you on WhatsApp, and maybe I get a call from my cousin, completely overrides my. That's true. The thing. But but I am finding that I don't find that guys, and I don't know if it's a conscious thing they're doing, but guys that I've met like recently, like say past year, I just don't find them that proactive. And I don't know if it's because everyone's talking about online is so easy and everything's at your disposal and everyone's so disposable and but I just find, and I don't know if any of you used to watch Millionaire Matchmaker.
Oh yeah.
To say that women fall in love between their ears. I definitely think that for me, like I want to talk to you. I want to chat to you on the phone. Even with my own friends, I don't mind WhatsApping my friends. Like I know my friends. But if I meet a new guy, I want to chat to you on the phone.
Why don't you ask them? Why don't you say it? Yeah, just
say, when am I going to hear your voice?
Oh yeah, I'll say call me. Oh, can I call you now? I mean, I think sometimes men really, I genuinely think men do not think like the way we think. We think so differently from the way men think in so many ways. Sometimes we just have to tell them what we want because we're thinking something and they don't even get it. I look back now, my own relationship, and I'm thinking there's so many times I was angry about things, but I sit back and I'm thinking, why the hell didn't I just say I'm not happy about this?
But sometimes I wonder, like,
and I'm thinking the person is he's not in my head. Why did I not say to the person that look, this whatever it is, I don't like it, or call me or speak to me. I don't want you to text me, have a conversation. This is how I feel. But we expect them to see these things, and honestly, men do not get it.
I feel like that's the thing, because I wonder if the whole online thing makes guys feel like, let me sit back and then, like, instead of being,
if it's not you, there's another person and another person.
That's what makes me wonder.
That is the more reason why you need to tell them exactly what you're looking for. And if they don't meet it, then they're not meant to be with you or for you. And then you just have to. Honestly, I think at this stage we just don't have time. Like personally, I don't have time to waste. I don't want you to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. If it's not going to work. We'll be Uncle baby. Everybody goes their own way. It's simple. Like So I'll say exactly what I'm looking for. If I want you to call me, I'll ask. Of course, it's nice to ask. I'm not going to call randomly, but I'll ask. Can you talk now? Is it a good time to talk? Is it a good time to talk? I will call you. I will call you. It's not a big deal. Is that a good time to talk? It's 6 o'clock. I'm assuming you finish work. 7 o'clock. I'm assuming you finish work. It's a good time to talk. Yeah. I've got kids. I've got to put my kids to bed first anyway. So we're talking about 8:39 by the time I'm done. So but that time, is it a good time to talk? Is every time it's not a good time to talk, then massa. It ain't gonna work.
It's because your wife is next to you.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
So I can't be texting all the time and doing voice notes. So honestly, I think personally, I just don't have the time to waste. So there's certain things that I don't really let it eat me up at all. My experiences so far, I've had people who are really consistent. It's just that we haven't clicked, but they've been consistent because I'll pick up a phone and I'll say, can you talk? Is it a good time to talk? And people will call all the time consistently, but it's just that we haven't clicked. So it's not going to move forward because I know what I'm looking for and I'm not really seeing that sort of personality or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should really not rely on the men. Just go for it. Tell them.
Everything should
especially
be
online
terms.
Yeah, just lay the terms and and just tell them tell them. And I think sometimes, I don't know about you, but I was brought up where women are meant to be a bit more reserved about certain things. So you being a bit what's the word, for lack of better words, being in the demand. Well, demand is not the word because I'm saying this is what I like. I think I've been brought up to be very submissive about things, come from a really Christian background. So there's certain things you're not supposed to. The woman doesn't go seek out sort of thing. So when you go up with that sort of mindset, it's sometimes you think asking certain things makes you, I don't know what the word is. It's almost like you're putting yourself out for the guy.
I think.
Yeah, I think you're putting yourself out for the way. Yeah, but you're too forward. But it's not.
Okay.
It's not. The guy's not thinking. He's not thinking the way he should be. Just tell him. Seriously.
Do you know, according to our culture, and I take it everyone here is from a part of Africa. Where we, apart from V, because you are married.
Yes.
You are not single.
No.
Thank God. But according to our culture, we are rebels because we are forward. And forward isn't a bad thing. But we are forward. We have less, so we are picky. We're not submitting enough. We're too, like I have this auntie who is my mum's friend, but she's my auntie that way, who, regularly she'll call me, Mommy, oh, have you got a boyfriend now? When are we going to have this wedding? Auntie, have you gone and found me a husband? Or have I come to introduce a guy to you that I'm going to marry? But why? Are you being too picky? And I said, Auntie, I don't want anything like that from a man. I just want a man that can be respectful, has some ambition, encourages me as I encourage them. Like a man who doesn't think that, I have to put them on a pedestal, who understands that actually, as much as, I'm all up for, being submissive, but I will submit to you if you give me a reason to submit to you.
Yep.
If you are out there, I'm tired. I don't want to make all the, I don't want to do all of that. But if you are just being random and you're not giving me a reason to submit to you, I'm not going to submit to you just because I'm Ghanaian. And that's how, our mothers and grandmothers, etc., they didn't speak about things that weren't good. And there's a lot of, people, friends my age, who have gotten married and they've divorced within a couple of years just because it was that pressure of, you are out from 26. They tell you, don't look at any boy. You've gone through university. As soon as you come out of university, who's your boy? You tell me not to look at anyone. And then 30, hey, you're old. A woman, when I was 30 in Ghana, she said to me, Mommy, your womb is drying up.
But that's because that's all a woman brings.
30. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? You shouldn't be picky. You should just, if a guy comes, just consider And I said, Auntie, when I am lying down next to this man who might beat me, this man
exactly.
who doesn't have any sense, and I'm supposed to grow old, so I should die before my time. No, I'm not going to allow somebody else's wahala just because you want me to submit to any and anybody.
And that's the thing, you saying that we're rebels, those of us who haven't been married before, like who are still
have children,
that alone makes us rebels.
Right.
To them, it's like, why haven't you? Like, it's that
why
easy.
Should you?
Just like what you said, but that alone makes us rebels because it's not even like we're single because we were married before and it's not worked or he's died. But not even not it worked, he's died. we're single because we haven't got married yet because to us we haven't found the right guy. But it's like that would make us rebels already.
I've been told I'm picky. Too picky, too fussy. I've been told I need fixing.
Have you not been asked if you're a lesbian yet?
No, I haven't.
Yes, I have. Me, absolutely. What is wrong? Are you sure you're not the other? Yeah, have. What else?
And then they try to introduce you to that one guy in a club,
the handsome one,
in a party.
The handsome guy.
He's really feeling himself, but he's not.
The handsome one.
These aunties and uncles. I swear.
These aunties and uncles are not just your ring finger watchers, they're also womb watchers. That's what I call them. Honestly, they are just something else. But I've got a question, actually. I was wondering, we were talking about celibacy earlier on. If you took the aspect of sex in the relationship out of that equation and you just went out to date, okay? Because I understand that there's a universal rule of like 30 days or 90 days, and then you meet that person, and after 30 or 90 days, then you say, actually, you can become intimate or whatever. But within our culture, I know that we've got Ruth being a Christian where she just, no sex before marriage and that. But if you removed that aspect, do you think you could find better, and I don't want to say the word meaningful relationship because all of them are there to teach us things.
What you mean if we remove the aspect of sex?
Yes.
Like if it's I don't think so. I think outside of sex, you still have to deal with the person's daily personality. How they behave towards things, how they act in situations. Like you still have to deal with people who do that. I think as much as there's a lot of people who I think do feel that sex keeps down a marriage or holds down a relationship, it might be for a little bit, but I don't think that's the overarching thing.
Definitely
I
not.
think it's really who you are as a person is what keeps you. For example, I have a friend who when they got married, the girl was she was a virgin, he wasn't, and they got married, they were together, they were fine for like 3 months. As soon as she got pregnant, she just didn't want to have sex anymore. Right? And this guy is somebody who actually, he really, when you see them together, they're quite a lot of fun. There's just other things going on with them. And for him now, it's been over like 13, 14 months. And that's his wife. And so that's stuck there. That's one on the other side where actually sex is needed. But there's the other side of these people that you can't even reason with them. Like we mentioned earlier on, you think you've got this, so you're being mouthy because you have a good job, or there's the insecurities and things like that. So I don't think sex is a very small percentage. In the end, because at some point they do say that when you're older or whatever, there's a point where actually sex don't even matter. It's just the companionship and the other ways of intimacy. So how is that also working out? I think sex is so small. Like, are you laughing together? If I'm with a guy and I can't bust a joke with you, we are finished. I mean, that's not life. And at some point, when you don't have that energy to have sex, Is this guy still going to make you laugh? Is he going to be silly? Are you going to be silly together? Are you going to keep young in your hearts together because you click in that way? I don't think it's sex. I just think some people is sense and personality. For me, is yeah.
I'll give an example. I have a friend who, after her second marriage, she decided to go celibate, and she did go celibate till the guy she just married. They dated for a couple of years, didn't do whatever because she's Christian, celibate, whatever. Guy agreed. They were married for, when she got pregnant, maybe a couple of months after they got married and whatever. Anyway, when she got pregnant, the guy decided not to sleep with her. 3 years down the line, the guy still doesn't sleep with her. Now,
3 years.
Yes, when they started, well, she was the one who wanted the whole celibacy thing. But as soon as she got pregnant, the guy didn't want to touch her. And it's been 3 years, well, a year, 2 years, 2.5 years now. And he still doesn't want to touch her. So this whole celibacy thing, sometimes, look, as Christians, I'm a Christian myself. Sometimes you hear these things, and these are people you know, these are people you're friends with. It makes you start thinking things. I mean, like, so during the courtship, when they were together, was it probably better that they were intimate in the way?
I'm confused,
so that
they're married.
Yes.
They're married. That's what I'm saying.
So
she was celibate.
What his reason is?
Maybe he caught gonorrhea. I don't know.
Was he actually celibate, or was he just
3 years?
celibate?
No,
the
time they were dating, they were both celibate. That's what I'm
They
saying.
got married.
And she was sure he was celibate? Because if a guy's not sleeping with
Can
you,
we-
he's sleeping with
can-
else.
His wife.
Now, as it is now, as far as we're concerned, there is no evidence that he's sleeping with anybody anyway. But the point here is that they were celibate from the beginning because she wanted to be celibate as a Christian. And I agree, because at the time she'd been through things, she said, look, I'm not doing this. Great. They got married. But when she got pregnant, after she got pregnant, like, the guy just, until today as we speak, he would not touch her.
Is it because he doesn't
That's not right.
attractive?
Is he gay?
It's Wendy. Yes.
Maybe he just wanted a child. You're right. Maybe he is.
Yeah.
No. Look, so this is what I'm saying. Like, it's not an easy thing to answer. Like, I don't think any of us sitting down right now have answers. Because the more stories I hear of people I know, friends I know of, things that are happening in people's lives, like, we genuinely all have to judge things based on our circumstances and people we meet and how things are going in our lives and their lives. And if the celibacy is what you want to do as a Christian, then stand by it. Somebody's cooking. Stand by
Sorry.
it. Stand by it. But I'm just saying, like, I can't really answer Vesta's question, whether sex itself is a big thing. For some people it is, for some people it isn't, because of personal circumstances. But I also agree that it gets to a point, you become companions. It's about who you can laugh with, who you can talk to, who you can joke with. But then I think the Bible also says intimacy is important in a relationship, obviously in marriage. Yeah, it's important in a marriage. It's very, very important. Yeah. So, I don't have answers, honestly. I'm waffling on because I really don't have answers for you, Vesta. But it's important. It's important. I strongly believe it's important. Brings you closer together as a unit. Whether it's something that you should hold on till after you get married, and of course your belief system should kick in. So as a Christian, if you say to yourself that I want to be celibate till we marry, then let your belief system work for you and pray about it. But it's important, but at the same time, I don't think that's the final, deciding factor in any relationship. Yeah.
Do you know what? Saying this, are you that hi? Go on, the floor is yours.
Oh, can you see her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, shame. Move out the way, man.
Sorry, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, Nasha.
Oh,
Hi. So is it what, to introduce myself or answer a question?
Yeah, do you know what? Introduce yourself, because you came in and give us some of your experiences as well as being single and dating. It would be lovely to hear your point of view as well.
Okay, well, hi girls.
Hi.
My name is Nasha. I'm Zimbabwean. I am divorced. I'm 38, going on 39. I'm a divorced mom of two. I've got a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. I was married for, got married when I was about 25, going on 26.
Oh, I think it's connection. We'll get her back. Let's just wait for her to come back.
And then,
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry,
Don't
that's
worry
fine.
about
Don't
it.
worry.
but yeah, so I've got two, and yeah, so I was married for 5 years, and then with a couple of years of separation, and then he divorced me, and then I got another couple of years of nonsense, to be honest. Well, that was me standing for the restoration of my marriage. That's basically shut the door. So that's basically what it was. But it got to a point where I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep waiting. I'm a Christian. I've prayed. I've fasted. I'm going to let this marriage go. So probably I let it go in year 10 of us meeting, and we met online, 2007. That was okay. Sorry.
Oh, don't worry, that's
someone
fine.
who just.
We've all got them. Some of them have been locked away.
Right. Should have sedated these ones, but. So anyway, yeah. So we met online, and since then, I think I post divorce, I went back into dating again end of 2017, and it's been online dating. So my background is my dad's gone.
Data.
Yeah, we need online dating.
Prolific.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes and no, in the sense that I believe in the system of online dating. I prefer it as a person. It's more suited to my personality. I like to assess a guy before I physically meet him. So blind dates fill me with like horror and the thought of, I don't know who I'm meeting, So I prefer the idea of texting, see how that goes for a little bit. My profile usually says endless texting, soul destroying. So dude, you better escalate or I'm going to shut it down. So I don't have time for these, we texted for 2 months. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, so I like to just escalate it quick. So if we get along on the text, then we'll move it on to a phone call. If that works well, then we FaceTime. I'm not coming out of my house for someone I've never seen before. So by the time we physically meet, it doesn't feel so like I'm meeting someone new. So that's why I prefer online dating. It's just the challenge with it is the caliber of men online. A lot of them are they're just not serious. They are just not serious. They don't take it anywhere, or you invest like 3 weeks to think it's going somewhere. You've had 1 or 2 days and then it just disappears, or it just grows cold, and it's just like, so when you feel just drained, like you've invested, you're just looking hopeful. So yeah, so for me, being a Christian, I definitely won't get married again. I wouldn't mind throwing in one more baby in there. Definitely. So I'm very much suited to marriage. I hate being single. I don't enjoy it. I think our biggest challenge with the ex was personality clash. I think we were not a long-term fit, but I think long-term we might not have had as much support from his family, but we're just kind of more he's Nigerian, I'm Zimbabwean, so I think the mother-in-law may have been, but to be honest, if he had enough love for me, we could have overcome it. I think,
do you know what?
term.
That's the question I was going to ask, because if you meet someone now that you might not be from the same country, but he's got enough love, support, and everything for you, would you still go on and be with that person where you have more of a fundamental love and care for each other and support?
Unless she absolutely hates me, I'm over that. Mommy begging to be loved. No, sorry. If I see you twice in a year, so long as we've got mutual respect, I don't have that kind of, some of the things that if you, the first time you get married, you care a lot more about, people can, you know, put their mouth on your marriage and it bothers you. I haven't got time for that rubbish now. I just, no, sorry. I'm over it. So it won't put me off.
I'm already over it.
Yeah. If she's that awkward, I would think about it though, is okay, how much, more than anything, it's about how much of an impact or influence rather she has on him. Because that's where, if she doesn't have influence, then, you know, we just shrug our shoulders and say, Mommy will pray for you and fast for you. But so yeah, I go around in circles, sometimes I lose my train of thought. So
no, that's good. It brings me to another one where, do you guys enjoy being single in a sense where, I understand there's companionship and all of that, but do you also like being by yourself sometimes, where you can just sit and just be by yourself, you don't rely on anyone, do you understand? How do you guys feel about being single?
I was actually told today, oh sorry, I was actually told today that I'm too comfortable being single.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I like my own space, and I like my own time. So if I meet someone, I'm going to find it difficult, which I completely kind of understand. It's that kind of compromise. I love my own space. I really do. And, you know, I am very ready to meet someone and share that space. But the actual practicalities of doing it is like, I don't know. It will be done, and I believe it's going to happen. It has to happen. But I do also enjoy my own kind of space. But no, I don't enjoy being single. I'm done. I'm so over it. So over it.
I hate it.
It's like the whole excitement thing that's gone now. Like all that, I can't wait to
yeah. For me, after I came back on the dating scene, post divorce, it was fun. Did Tinder. My days, the matches were just popping. I was just out every Saturday for I think 6 months solid. In fact, I'm telling you,
I need to see what pictures she's put up.
I do the good girl ones and just I'm telling you. And my family actually had an intervention. They're like, Nash, you need to stop. It's too much. I was like, sorry, excuse you. I was waiting for that point when you said stop that one too. So I had fun. But then I got to a point where I was like, Lord, I'm just tired. I'm just done with this. I'm over it. And then I met a guy actually. And that was the best relationship I've ever had.
Wow.
It was brief. But and then he just decided one day I'm done, sort of thing. So that left me a big shock. But I think coming back to your question, Vesta, on if we took sex out of the equation, well, I think with that guy, if it was a case of if I was okay to be sleeping with him, and then we could have probably dated comfortably for about a couple of years, and then you know, go married and things like that. But you know, when you date a Christian, you're on a timer, in it, and it's just or definitely with me, I definitely couldn't date someone for 2 years and not sleep with them. I know myself. I don't want to overestimate my capacity to resist sin, but at the same time, you know, I do not want to fornicate either. That's not an option. So I'm more likely to be the shotgun wedding type, you know. So it's difficult for me to see a relationship where sex is not on the table, because, you know, it's so I don't want to say what else have you got, because actually there's loads. Like with this ex I was talking about, he was a good friend. He was like a girlfriend, honestly. He was an amazing friend, and that's the thing I missed the most when it ended, the friendship. And so for me, I live in Kent. It's a really small town. I don't have any brothers. I don't have, my dad's been gone for about 15, 16 years now. I started off as, I went to girls' school in high school, and then I became a nurse, so that's girls. Became a midwife, more girls. I'm a health sister, even more girls. I was just telling Sheila, sorry, I got invited by Sheila. So I was just telling Sheila, I don't have male friends. I find it difficult to have male friendships. So that's why, other than online dating is it's kind of suited to my personality. I can put myself out there without really, really putting myself out there, because I'm not always comfortable with initiating. But I actually, that is like what Sheila said, it gives me reach. Otherwise, I would never ever meet anybody. I'm just surrounded by women 7 days a week, and then I live with a girl and a 5-year-old boy. That's about as male
as you get. Oh, but Sheila, I'm sure you can give us some. I want your best like dating story, like when you went out, like maybe a blind date, you met this person on Tinder or whatever, and there was no like inkling of what he or he would be like. What? Give me something, because
you've heard this story before. Because I even said it on the show one time. So I'm just going to turn the light on. It's a bit dark. So I've had one horror story, a Tinder horror story, where oh my God. So I met this guy, Nigerian guy, we were talking. He was a little bit younger than me. It's cool. I actually need to ask that question after, if it, like, we have an age. But yeah, so it was fine. You know, he was really nice. He was doing well in his career and stuff. We'll have conversations. And we'd actually talk on the phone for hours on end. It was great. And I was like, his pictures, though, looked a bit older. And I was like they were old pictures. So...
you went to me and uncle, didn't you?
I wish. So I remember one time he said he was going to a business meeting or whatever. I said, oh, you must be in a suit. You must be suited and booted. Let me see a picture. He sent a picture, and it was
literally catfish.
Listen, the picture was like this. So I was like, okay. There's another one. He was in a gym, like, you know, and his face was covered. And I was like, okay, no problem. Drove, I have family in Oxford, so it was fine, because the plan was to go to my cousin's after. So I drove from London. I live in Enfield. Drove from London to Oxford. Before I got there, and you know how God sometimes just want to just give you a little slap. Before I went, I was rushing, so I went to the loo, and my phone was in my pocket, and it fell in the loo. So already me, I don't know which way I'm going, but I had to go. And that day we had evangelism at church. Instead of going to evangelism,
you're there meeting uncles.
So I was like, God, please, I beg. So I went onto Google. I wrote down the directions. That's how much I wanted to go on this first date. And he'd cooked, and he was making, you know, we were going to go on a picnic. Eventually got there. This guy walked out, and God forgive me. Cough. This guy walked out. I knew that he'd had like an operation a few years back.
He had a what?
He'd had an operation.
Oh, okay.
So he spent like 9 months trying to learn how to walk again.
Okay.
As far as I was aware, it's fine. I got there, like he had one big thing on his leg. His face, like he was the same age as he said, but the pictures that he had sent were older. On his hair, his head was like, he had tufts of hair. Like, so it wasn't, he didn't have hair. Explain it. Like, okay, you know when there's like an old old white people, you know, when they've got like that kind of cotton wool kind of
Yeah.
This was this guy, and he had like scarring in his head and everything. I was like,
wow.
he had like these angry looking spots around here. Look at Wendy's face.
I'm sorry.
When I got there, I was like, I'm not gonna, like, we've gotten on. I knew nothing was gonna, because it was just too much. But I said, I've driven up here, so it's cool. But already, you know, when somebody's done something wrong and they know they've done wrong,
it.
so they have to back up already. So when I saw him, I was like, you're right, hugged him, and already he was a bit stiff. And in my head, I was like, I know you know. So we went to have this picnic, and then like he'd made some guacamole or something, and he dipped his hand and he licked it and he tried to put it.
No.
So we had conversation. No. And we had to go to the cash point, and people were just staring at us. Like, I dressed, I looked nice. People were staring at us, and his eye was a bit okay. And then when we had conversation, and he tried to kiss me. And I said, no, I'm not really feeling it. It's like, why? Anyway, came back now. He sent me a message, and he's like, oh, I want to see you. And I said, you know what? I just didn't feel like there was that kind of connection there. Like, I think you're a really nice guy. There's no connection. Here, this guy. Oh, why don't you like me? I know you don't like me. But he had told me that his younger brother was in prison. Mm-hmm. Said, no, it's because my brother's in prison. I was like,
you lie.
Seriously?
You lie.
This guy
This guy's in denial.
This
you
was
catfish me and expect.
I was so vexed. But I just tried to keep my calm. After a month, you know, and this guy tried to tell me it's because of his brother. And he kept just bombarding me with phone calls and messages. Oh, I didn't think you were like that. I thought I could tell you a secret about my brother. And I said, listen, it's really not your brother. Don't push me.
It's you.
I never did you not block this person, please?
I had to after like the second week. I'm that person. I'm really I feel for people. Like, even though he catfished me, I still did go. I've gotten catfished in Ghana as well. Ghana,
Jesus.
And
are you serious?
I'm going to send you a picture of who said was coming on the date.
Send it to me. I'm actually going to be able to share it.
Oh, please.
Sharing. I'm going to send it to you, but that was...
Is there a Tinder Ghana, please?
Yes, there's Tinder. Nigeria, some of us are Tindering in Abuja right now. Yeah, Tinder. The Bumble's in Ghana as well.
I didn't know this. Yes, I'm so lame.
But Chrissy, would you be willing to move to Ghana though, if you met someone in Ghana that's really cool?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, yes.
Yeah, so even I was speaking, so recently, as soon as I turned 40, all these conversations about me and my relationships and non-relationship has been happening, so I keep referring to them. So basically my family is like, why haven't you moved to Ghana? You may find someone, because London is done. It's so done. And I would, and I've met 2 people on Facebook in Ghana, and when I've gone to Ghana, I've met them. Unfortunately, nothing happened, but we are really good friends. So I definitely am up for kind of meeting someone here, having a conversation, and then eventually, if it's right, I'll move to Ghana, definitely.
I think your scope has actually widened now that you're willing to change location.
Charlie, I'm telling you, 40 has hit me hard. These things have to happen, but yeah, definitely willing to move to Ghana. And settle down, meet someone.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Wendy, have you got any stories? I don't want to say horror stories, because this guy lives in denial. You're saying, oh, the picture has come through. Wait,
this is the guy I was meeting.
I want to see this picture, please.
Let me show you.
I want to see this picture.
Can you guys see?
That's the one that he posted.
No, this is the guy I was supposed to be meeting.
Okay.
Wow. So is it that it was a picture of him but before, or he used somebody else's picture?
Let me just send you the picture and you do the judgment. I beg. And I took a picture of him there because he was so arrogant about it as well.
Because
And I
that guy,
couldn't believe
that
it, 'cause
picture,
my
he's
battery was
very,
dead.
very cute.
He looks very cute. He looks like
Very
Jamie
cute.
Foxx cute.
So tell me, this is who I've met. Tell me if it was an
I
old
feel
picture.
like it's somebody else.
It is somebody else. This guy tried to tell me it was
No,
his
that's
brother.
someone. That's
He
someone
told me
else.
That's
that
somebody
it
else.
was his brother's phone, and when he got it, he didn't know how to change the pictures.
No, that's catfish.
He didn't say it was him.
One.
That's
He
somebody
said he
else. Yeah, that's
forgot
somebody
to leave his brother, take his brother's
cheap.
pictures off. And you know,
Somebody else.
hey, I have suffered.
That's terrible.
You should suffer no more. It is over in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. I receive everything, all of it. But there are some fine guys online, though. I'm not gonna lie.
There is.
So for me, so what were you gonna ask me, V? My best day?
Yeah, give me your worst date.
My worst one. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as she. I think, but it was like so maybe 2010. I was on Plenty of Fish, and I was on Plenty of Fish, and I met a guy who he was cute. We got talking on the website. He said he lived in Kingston, as in Surrey, Kingston, and he asked me to go out. He said he knows a place in Brixton, so I was like, okay, cool, because I live in Vauxhall, so that's fine for me. He on the day I was kind of waiting for the plans, kind of thing. Like it was a weekday. Let's say it was a Friday, so it was a weekday. Finished work, waiting for the plans. He was like, "Oh, are you going to be able to?" Something I can't remember what he said. Something's come up. Can you meet me in Collier's Wood? And I was like, okay. I was trying to think. There's no way to go in Collier's Wood. Collier's Wood is dry. So, but I thought, okay, I'll meet you there. So I obviously got dressed, I think the nicest dating attire is jeans and a nice top. So I dressed nicely for it, took the tube. He met me at the station. He's wearing some flannel tracksuit top that was, I think the top was pink, and then the bottoms they weren't the same tracksuit. The bottoms are like some blue, and it looked like, I don't even know how to describe the material. It just was like an old tracksuit. I thought, okay, but it was the same guy. Like, as in
God.
yeah. So then he was like, oh, he'd driven there, so he was parked outside. So like we hugged, we went to the car. His passenger side, I don't drive. That was obviously it's his car. His passenger side door can't open, so I had to sit at the back behind the passenger seat, because obviously he's in the driver's seat. So I look like a friggin' taxi passenger right now. Okay. So then I'm like, he's like, oh, he's driving, and I'm thinking, okay, it's probably a bit silly of me to go with him, to be honest, but he's driving. He was like, oh, do I know anywhere we can go? And I'm thinking, I can only think of Tooting Broadway. And he was like, oh, he's got, tell me some stupid story about how he just bought an £800 mattress. So he doesn't want to go to a bar.
Was he inviting you to test it out or something?
He nearly did. So he doesn't want to go to, because I said, oh, we can go to a bar and Tooting. And he's like, oh, he just bought an £800 mattress. So
he hasn't got money.
Kind of broke right now, yeah. He doesn't want to go to a bar and embarrass himself. But he can't he's got drink at home, so he can't embarrass himself at home. I was like, yeah, nah, I don't really want to go to your house, kind of thing. He was like, okay, cool, we could just go for a drive. And then he was driving and we were talking. He's very into, most of the conversation was about horoscopes and star signs. And so you're this, or apparently you're like that, and da-da-da-da. And they say that these ones match, and it was just, so much of it was about horoscopes. I was like, okay. So then we was driving, we went through Wimbledon, and he was like, oh, it was, I can't remember what month it was. Let's say it was October. So he was like, oh, he's a bit cold. Like he wants to drive back to his place to get a jacket.
Is that £800 mattress?
In it. So he's like, okay. So I said, okay. So we went to his, and it was kind of Kingston area. I went to college in Kingston, so I recognized like areas there. So we got to his place, and he's like, oh, do you want to come up? I was like, oh, no, I'm okay, I'll stay here. You go and get your jacket, kind of thing. So he went up to his place and came back down with a jacket. And I think he could even see that, yeah, it's not going the way I wanted it to. So he got back in the car, turned around, started driving, and he was like, oh, where should I drop you? And I was like, he could drop me in Wimbledon. I can get a bus straight from Wimbledon home. So I was like, yeah. And all this whole time I'm sitting in the back seat.
Nah.
He was in the
Wow.
He had stuff on the front passenger seat, because if I wanted to get the passenger seat, I had to get in the back and then climb in the front. So I just stayed at the back. And it was just terrible. And I just don't think, I think both of us knew that, yeah, you're not the one. But so I don't recall, because he was, as well as this £800 mattress, he was also supposed to be going on holiday somewhere. I can't remember if it was Jamaica. I think he was Jamaican.
But why did he ask you out if he couldn't?
Because he wanted to get me back to his house. I think the intention was to go back to his house.
Probably works for other people.
I know somewhere in Brixton. I know a good bar in Brixton, because Brixton has loads of good places. I'm like, okay, cool. And it's not far from home for me as well. So, okay. It was terrible though.
Can I ask a question really quick? I don't know if you guys find it. Do you find men find it very easy to ask you to come to their house on the first date? Was it just me?
They do. I think they do. I think that I've had the
history of just people, oh, do you want to come round to my, like, and I feel like I shouldn't need to say, I'm not coming round your house on the first date. Still in 2020, and I'm still being asked for the first date to go to someone's house. I wondered if anyone else finds that. And
there was a guy that I met on Hinge.
Right.
I think it was September. That I'm the one. I shot my shot, so I'm the one who commented on his picture, whatever, first, and then he matched, and we got talking, and he literally felt like somebody I've known forever, like stupid. Like the conversation was fine. He used to call frequently, more than he'd message, which I liked. But then it got to a point where it's like, okay, when are we going to meet? But he literally wanted me to come to his house. And then he started talking kind of sexually. So he would start talking like about what he's going to do to me. Yeah, because when I saw your pictures and your thighs and that's what I'm going to do, whatever. And like, he is Caribbean, so he's from Grenada, but he works with, as everybody does, a lot of Ghanaians. So he used to put on like Ghanaian accent and be silly with it and all that. But then it kind of became like, I thought he was joking about me coming to his house, but then it kind of became like, that's the only thing he's suggesting, me coming. He lived in Chiswick, that I should come to his house. I just thought, no, because technically you're the man, you're supposed to come closer to where I am, so I can get home quicker, kind of thing. And then there was one time we spoke, and cool, he was meant to call me later that evening, he didn't. I messaged him the next day, didn't hear back from him. I called him the day after that, didn't hear back from him, that's it. And I think just because I didn't want to come to his house, because he literally wanted to have sex on the first date, and I think because I didn't, I just haven't heard from him again.
Yeah. Wow. That's brutal though.
It is.
Sheila.
So I've got, so back in early February, I started talking to this guy online, and literally, like, so we started kind of talking in the morning. He's like, oh, let's go and have a drink or whatever this evening. It was a Friday, and we went for a drink. We then went to go and watch a movie, and then went to eat. It was such, like, it was, you know, like you were saying, like, you just known the person for ages. We was just constant banter. And then he said, okay, so at this point it was like 12 something, and I live in Enfield and we're in Shepherd's Bush, and he lives closer. And he said, I can get you a cab home, or you can come and stay at mine, and I will take the floor, whatever. I did go to his house, I'm not going to lie. Okay. I stayed there, and I didn't go back home till Monday.
And this is what Friday is.
This was Friday.
Wow.
And believe it or not, actually, there was nothing sexual that happened. But we stayed up, we watched movies, we played like Ludo. On Saturday, he went to work, came back, cooked. We were just still, and it was just, we never date, we didn't end up dating or whatever. But for me, that's a bit out of character, but it was such a fun weekend. So it's not always sex. And we've still kept in touch. There wasn't anything like that, but it was out. Like I'm saying, you shouldn't do that. But I feel like on this occasion, I was very.
Why do you think it never went romantically?
No, just because he's got a few things that. So he's Nigerian, but was brought up in America, so he's an American citizen. But he was here with work, and I think his contract has come into an end, and he's just got other things. Like he's got 2 daughters, and it was just a bit messy with the mum because she's trying to take. So I don't mind if you've got kids, it's fine. But the relationship between him and the mum was just really, it was messy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go there. But I just had a really great weekend with a stranger's house.
Oh.
He gave me, when he was going to work, he gave me a key on Saturday morning. And I said, so wait, when you come back and I've cleaned out your house, he had a nice house. If I've cleaned out your house, because I'm from Northwest London, I can. But I said it. So that was nice. So sometimes, but you shouldn't do that. Because
the moral of the story is don't go to a stranger's house unless you have a good time.
But sometimes our instincts are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I agree, and I think coming back to, I don't know what was Chrissy you asked about, guys inviting you to your house. I think I think it's just a certain type of guy. There are those types, and sometimes you can keep running into the same type of guy. I had one. It was one of those, and actually I realized this is one of the things that they're called pickup artists, or these dating coaches for men who are training guys to how to get as much sex as possible.
Yeah.
So one of the things is you go to a restaurant or you take your ass somewhere as close to home as possible. That way you can always nip back to the house. So I had one, I liked him. He looked good, but oh gosh, he was just a rubbish communicator, and that is just a total no for me. But I was back on the scene. I didn't mind. So we went for some basic Chinese. I was like,
basic.
And then went back to his place, and then he's talking about how, again, you shouldn't do that. But anyway, I live to tell the tale. And then he talked about how he wanted to watch. It's like, would you mind if I play a game? I think he's on his Nintendo. I don't know. I'm not a gamer. So I was like, well, sure, that's fine.
Xbox.
Innit? I was like, well, that's fine. You can play your game, but I can't go because I've got I'm paying a babysitter right now, so I'm not here to come and watch you play. No. Exactly. So I was like, so anyway, we talked for a little bit, and then Alex was very attractive, but it's like, so what? You can't even talk. So
you're gonna play a game.
So he walked me out, and so he was always the type of guy who was trying it. So he walked me out and like, all right, text me when you get home. I was like, I turned around and he smacks my bottom. I was like, oh, you know what? Anyway, but again, they'll be pushing their luck because, seeing how you react. Are you going to turn around and slap him, or are you going to giggle? And so you can see how you can push the boundaries next time. But he circled back a couple of other times, but I was just like, the other thing that annoyed me was I hung up. I'm talking to you, I'm hearing some funny breathing, and he's getting off. I was like, sorry, what the heck? So, so I just hung up. So,
no.
But you just get some idiots out there who are like that. So I think it's just the type of guy. Not all the guys are like that, and So sometimes you'll just be unfortunate to run into the same type. So it feels that they're all doing that, but no. Anyway, my experience.
Wow.
Excuse me.
I mean, from the catfishing to the phone conversation, yo.
Yeah, wise.
Single life is really not that easy. Because I thought, you know, as a single female, you can mingle, you can dabble into things, you can just be a bit freer than, you know, other people. Like, yo.
It is fun. It is like, mostly for me, I enjoy that. I enjoy dating. I don't like being single as much. Sometimes I am, but I enjoy going on dates. I enjoy, like I said, I like meeting new people and talking to people. So I enjoyed that aspect of it and just getting to know like the different dynamics of people. But it is it's fun, but it does suck a lot of the times when you run into these certain kind of guys who are very arrogant. There's a lot of arrogant men out there, but there's a lot of great, really nice guys as well. But one thing I did want to say is I know that also with our age, sometimes there is that pressure to second guess yourself as far as why you're not in a relationship. Or I've had times when I'm like, I mean, what's wrong with me? I've been on dates and we've had a really good time, and then it's just like all of a sudden there's nothing. Am I being too picky? Am I choosing? Maybe I shouldn't just be going out with a guy who's taller than me. I'm only 5'3". So really, if I say that, I'm gonna be taller than this guy. But we do fall into that pressure of what am I doing wrong? And I actually don't think we're doing anything wrong. Mostly, somebody earlier on talked about actually when you leave a relationship, just stepping back and actually checking yourself for what you did wrong, taking responsibility for what you did wrong in a relationship as well as theirs, and then you learn and then you move on. And I think that's really great, because there are people who are just leaving a relationship, jumping into another relationship, and then they go and do the same thing. And then it's like, oh, well, this guy's just doing this to me, this guy's doing this to me. But as long as I feel like as long as we're reflecting on ourselves, what our faults are, acknowledging those faults, and then moving on with it, I mean, the pressure is there, but I think it's okay. I just don't think we shouldn't compromise on the basics. And I don't think any of us have this really crazy long list of things. Most of us, when we check our lists, mental list or noted, it is very basic things like we just want a guy with a good moral who has basic understanding of what being a man is and a human being is. So
to treat us as well as we treat him.
So if we're sticking to it, let's hang in there, because I really believe that there is.
And I just feel like there's no point us getting this far and just going to accept anything. You might as well.
I'm trying not to. I hate dating. I
enjoy. I'm just like Sheila. I enjoy the dating process.
I just don't like it. I hate going out to date. I don't. No, I can talk to someone. That's fine. But it's the going out. I actually hate the whole process. Really do hate every bit of it. Maybe that's what's stopping me, but I hate it. I hate it. I think it's because I get excited and then it just ends up being a bit poo.
Yeah, I think the disappointment is the hard part.
Absolutely. So it's not, I don't know what. It's going to be better. Amen.
Amen. Does everyone here belong to a church? Just out of curiosity.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Oh, okay. So do you find that in church? Like my pastor's wife quite often tries to hook me up.
See, if I had people hooking me up, I think I wouldn't mind that. But no one does.
I don't like that.
I would prefer if someone said to me, because see, I think I've got someone. I would prefer that. I really would. But at the moment, I'm still counting the amount of people with it. None. Zero. None.
The aunties and uncles just
none. They just keep saying, "Why are you still single?"
Yeah. Because you have not found a man for me.
Exactly. Absolutely.
But you know, I've found also that, correct me if I'm wrong, there's some women out there who are single, out over the age of 30, and think that, you know what, and say that actually this is enough. They're happy just to find a sperm donor in effect, where they just want to have their children because they're 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, and they just want to have the kids and at least have the kids. Do you understand? So at least they have the children, that's done, and then later they will concentrate on having a life partner. Yes, Sheila?
Something I'm considering.
You
I'm 40 next year. I've always thought that I always wanted to have children young because I wanted to grow with my kids. I wanted to have not such a big age difference. At the moment, when I hit 40, even if I have children at 40, my child, by the time I'm 61, I'll be 61 when my child is leaving university, 61 years old, right? That's if I have children by next year. So right now, I'm waiting for a good man that I'll meet, court for maybe, let's even say 8 months.
Yeah.
We decide to get married and I have children. So we're going to 41 here. Yeah. And that's by chance. Right? This hasn't happened yet. So honestly, it's something I'm looking at. I've gone on to this donor site is an American site. There's one in Switzerland. I'm actually actively looking. Looking to a couple of friends who have just been like, would you, because one thing I don't want to do is to meet a guy, dating them, and then have a child with them, a guy that I don't see a future with. And I don't see a future with them because if we're not getting married, I'm not seeing a future. I don't want to have that thing where it's a case of, I had a child with this guy and then he's going to be trying to come in and out my life and have, because I don't want that. So if I've waited this long because I wanted to get married and have kids. But if that's not happening, I'm really seriously looking at doing it on my own. And I had this conversation with my pastor's wife, and she was, she gave me all everything, hold on, and that's not right, and all of that. But I am actually there. Like I've given myself a time limit.
Would that go hand in hand with your Christian belief, though? Because it's just what I'm trying to say. Because you are Christian, you go to a church, you belong to a church, and now you want to go out and do the thing that, Well,
what does it say? It says you shouldn't fornicate. If I'm going to a donor, I'm literally just taking their sperm. I'm not fornicating. I'm not having sex with them. I'm just getting some fluid. That will turn into a child. Like so. Absolutely. I know there is that contention, but really and truly, I've prayed on this. I've like, God, like I'm holding you to task here. I need this to be done here and God comes through for me with all my needs, with everything. This is the one thing I don't know what's going on, and sometimes I feel like, look, is somebody trying to do something to me spiritually, whatever. I'm not going there. I want to have children. Like in the end, it'll be great if I have a life partner. I want that, but overall, my need for children is more important than my need for a husband. It would be great if that he was there. Then that's what everybody wants. Really and truly, I want to have kids. I really don't want my ovaries to shrink.
They're not shrinking, Jesus.
My eggs, they're not. I know. And I know people are having kids at a much later date, but for me, I do want to have children in the next couple of years. And I don't trust any man to come and find me or let me find him. So I'm just going to borrow somebody's
I even actually said to my friends that they should start looking at reserving their eggs earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what, it sounds really bad, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I've started menopause earlier than I ever would have thought. So if I had known the road I was going to be taking, that would be here now, I would have probably done things just like you, maybe look for a donor or maybe just raise my eggs. So I definitely think that as single women, we should be able, feel free to those options. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think with the times, the way it's moving as well, I think you should take your own destiny sometimes into your own hands and make decisions that are good for you as an individual.
Absolutely.
Stop thinking about what other people think, stop thinking what your church thinks, and stop, and just see what's good for you. And that's what I think, but
Speak to God on it, but definitely you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we far too many times we just rely too much on what society thinks of us. It's too much of like in my 20s I could have had a child, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And even then I wasn't saved. Like, so I could have done it. But it was always like, oh God, what, like, it'll be shameful for my parents, it'll be shameful for my family to have kids out of wedlock. My mum right now is saying to me, listen, can you just have some children? She's finished there. When are you going to get married? When I said, oh, this person's had a child. By God's grace, you will have yours by next year. And I'm like, so no husband first.
That's exactly precisely my conversation.
These people we've been trying to please, it gets to a point, actually, all they do want is children. They just using this, have a husband there as a way of movement. But it's and so, mate, I'm really seriously looking into a donor.
Yeah.
6 foot and over, ideally.
And chocolate in color.
Yeah. Nice dark chocolates.
I totally get it. Even though I've got 2 children, I've always wanted 3, and my friend and I was talking about how we've got these quivering wombs. And I've got a friend who has a similar age, and she said the same thing. She's considering a donor. So it's one of those. I think honestly, I believe in taking destiny into your own hands. And like for me, if I meet someone who say they could have children and they don't have any children, or I'm not convinced they wanted children, because even if you can't bear children of your own, there's options now with surrogacy or even adoption, and you could breastfeed even an adopted baby. The GP can prescribe you something that will stimulate your milk. You can have those experiences, and then obviously there's the donor. And I just think, honestly, if your mind is pure on that, it's not conventional, but we are also in unconventional times, and it's really, really, really difficult. So for me, I did consider a third one with the ex, but anyway, it was just it wasn't worth it. So I would like another one, but I don't want another one just to have 3 children. I would like to do it together. So, but it's something that if I never had that third one, it would be something that would make me feel sad for a little bit. But so I just think, honestly, if your heart is right, if you're pure, if your intentions are pure, if it wasn't fornication, if you didn't sin, then why not? Why not? Why can't you have the people who get raped and they have their children? So they had the choice taken away from them. So why can't I? So personally for me, I'm just saying, if I didn't have kids, I'll do it. It's something that I would definitely, it's something I endorse. It's something I think I think you can take your power back, have some control of your life. Obviously, there are challenges and it is difficult, parenting on your own. But the joy that children bring, it surpasses all of that. And and the man that who's for you will love you and your kids. Like there's Derek Prince.
Isn't it? And at this age, most guys our age have children. They already with their kids already. And they might not even want anymore. So if you've got your own,
exactly,
you're making a perfect
blend.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we need to. It's not something. I think a lot of people like freezing eggs and donors. Is when I first started mentioning it to a few friends, it was almost like hush up. It's almost like it's a shameful thing. As a woman, why can't you do it like yourself and do it? And it's not like again, society as Africans is not a thing. Like it's not a thing you talk about. Yeah, you can't have your own kids, so you're going to freeze your eggs. You can't have your own kids. You don't have a man, so you're going to go and steal someone's sperm, or you're going to borrow somebody's sperm. My friend, the goal is there, and I definitely the worst thing that like you can take my legs, you can take my hands, but the worst thing for me would be if I was ever told that I couldn't have children of my own. Like I want to adopt. I mean, at some point, I think I will also adopt, but I want to go through that whole body change of having your own children. And if I was ever told that I couldn't, that would be my worst nightmare. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to leave it till like I'm 45, 46 and I'm really struggling to have it. And even now, I don't know if I will struggle. I'm going to get on the train.
I mean, when it comes to struggling, so Sheila, you know my story. It doesn't matter on your age sometimes. It's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, all of you are fruitful in your own ways. 2020, yes, we were in lockdown, but when we're coming out with boyfriends and husbands.
Amen.
So yeah, we have to, you know what, I'm going to hook people up. But I say this, I really want to hook people up, but I don't have single friends.
Yes, sir.
See? So who am I hooking up?
What are we talking about? You don't have single friends. This is, yeah. I have single friends.
So what do you mean you don't have single friends? Like you don't have single guy friends?
No, everyone I know, they're all married.
Oh, not
yesterday.
Amen.
Yes, go to daddy. Please.
Have you got makeup on?
Yes, I do.
Hello, me.
Why are you using daddy's?
It's my laptop. Anyway, having children.
Yeah.
Why are you using daddy's?
So,
Why are you using daddy's phone?
it's not daddy's phone. Daddy's on the phone, isn't he? Oh, sorry. I'm just going to quickly say edit, just so that I know that I need to edit this bit out. Yeah. So you guys give me just 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's definitely a thing. My close friend of mine was horrified when I said that's what I want to do. It's like just hang in there and pray. And I said I have been praying. Like,
but sometimes you just have to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to work through it and yeah, absolutely. Me, I was told that I was like, okay, maybe I could freeze eggs at that time. I said it's too late. It's too late to do anything. And that was when I was 38.
Wow.
So it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. So yeah, do what you can. That's all I say. Yeah. That's what I preach now. I've learned the hard way, but it's well. So definitely look at adopting. But I'm like, if I still feel like I need to meet someone before I can adopt. I live in a 1-bedroom. It just works, and I can't afford the 2 bedrooms, so I need someone to be with, so then I can do that. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're thinking about it in a very practical way, and I think a lot of women, when they're growing up, they're reading the storybooks and all that, and they think that their husband is just going to come in a perfect suit. You have a car, you have a house, he will come and sweep it off your feet. It doesn't always work like that. And that's what the thing that we need to cut out of the society. We need to tell them that, listen, you have to work hard for yourself. Then when you're in a relationship, or if you meet someone, you try and work hard at what you've got. And if you see it doesn't work, get out. Don't spend too much time on something that you know deep down it won't work. But then, you know, I think you single ladies absolutely rock. And 2020 is the year, because I have an outfit for hopefully an engagement. So I will be coming and attending, and I'll bring a DJ.
Hey, we have got an in-house DJ. Hey.
Yes. I will bring the DJ.
Bring him. You've even got flower girls already set up as well. Look,
all of that is done.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
We're on it.
We got it together. But before I think we end on this, I want to go around the room. Just any advice you would have given yourself in your 20s to do this now. I mean, you can have a couple of minutes to think about it. What would you tell yourself, let's say at the age between 22 and 30, 29, 22, 29? What would you tell yourself then? Shall we start with Sheila? You ready, or Wendy?
Yeah.
Sheila?
I would tell my younger self to be more confident in my intuition. As in, if I feel like something is not right, is not right, don't try. I would tell myself that I can't fix everything. I can't fix things that are clearly not working. So be more confident in my intuition, but have fun in life. Yeah.
Wendy?
It's hard. Because I feel like I've got there. I know myself now. What would I tell myself, my younger self? I think, I don't know. Maybe to stop, because I wanted it so bad when I was like young, like in my 20s. What would I tell my younger self? That maybe stop comparing myself to my friends so much. Because that was a big thing that I did. I used to do all the time. And make myself unhappy because I'm comparing myself to my friends.
Yeah.
And they've got this, or they look like this, and they're like this. And just, because you know how like now, you look at pictures of yourself in your young days and think, oh my God, I thought I was fat then.
Yes.
That was nothing.
Yeah.
So I think, if I could tell myself, stop comparing. I would have been happier or more relaxed if I stopped comparing myself to everybody else. And just learn that, I told myself that, like, you know, everybody's race is different. So, I think that's what it would be. I don't know what I tell myself in terms of dating, but I just think to my younger self, I'll tell myself to stop comparing myself to my friends.
Yeah.
So much.
Oh, that's lovely. Chrissy?
I would also tell myself to be more confident. As I said, I was in Bognor Regis. I was the only black person there. I think I compared myself a lot to the white girls there that were skinnier, had less bum, had less boob, I was thicker. So I think that all contributed to lack of confidence. So I definitely would have said, be confident, you're beautiful, you're black, take it. You get me?
Yeah.
That's what I would
Yeah, that's lovely. And Nasha?
I think it comes back to the same confidence thing. I was a tall girl, so I've been this high since I was about 14, I think. So there was quite a lot of reference to my younger sister. I'm 5'8", and my younger sister's 5'10". So we've always been the tall ones, and I don't know. It made me feel self-conscious, and then I think I went up to, I was in size 18 when I was about age 16. So that made me quite self-conscious, and I didn't always feel good enough. I mean, there was this boy that he was my sister's friend. She was younger than me, was my sister's friend from when I was school, probably year 8. We didn't go out till year 12, I think, but I just couldn't believe that he would ever like me. And so I think it took me years to shed the fat girl image I had in my head. And so sometimes I would settle with who I dated or because I didn't feel good enough. Even when I lost weight, I went from a 16 to a 10.
Woo!
Went through the whole.
Please, how did you do it? I need it now.
Yeah. Oh, that, do you know what?
Now I'm at 12, even though this lockdown has turned me to almost a 14, but I'm a 12, but I went to 10. I was looking quite, and I still, in my head, I couldn't quite shed that image of. So sometimes I wouldn't have confidence to express interest, not even just accept attention from the guy whom I liked, because my self-esteem was low. But I think it's a recurring thing with many women in their 20s that and early 30s, that you struggle with confidence, and then they do say you enter your sexual prime in your 40s, where you are just confident and comfortable in yourself. So I think it's I think maybe what I would tell myself, if you are desirable, which is what I didn't always believe. So I settled sometimes because I didn't feel I deserved what I wanted.
Yeah. So I think, you know what? The consensus are, when you're in your 20s, or what we would have told ourselves, is to stay confident, be yourself, and trust your intuition, and go for what you want. You know, not about settling or anything like that. It's about doing what's good for you, following the lead and guidance of God, if that's what you believe in. Thank you, girls, so much for this evening. Do you know what?
I had fun.
When I started this being single thing, I just wanted some genuinity about it. I wanted some truth behind it, and I think that's what I got today. So
we have stories. Unfortunately, we have stories.
I feel like, though, there needs to be a part 2 in this. So I will schedule one in. I feel like Sheila has a lot of stories that she can share, and some pictures we can make rounds of, and you know.
Did you see that stupid boy? I've suffered. This is a record that has suffered.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you girls so much for joining Sister to Sister.
Take care.
I'm going to get in touch with you shortly at some point with any other topics you want to join in, do so.
Okay.
And thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, everyone.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye, guys.